Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's fineokay, and today I'm going to be doing the patch 4.22 notes review. So these patch notes came out yesterday, and there's not a lot of changes, but there's some changes that I wanted to talk about, some interesting things, so figured I'd go over it. If you want to see all the skins, all this miscellaneous stuff, you can go ahead and look at the link down in the description. I'm going to put the link to the patch notes down there, so if you're going to look at all this stuff that I don't really care about, you can. We just want to look at the balance changes, so let's go straight to that. First up is going to be Titan's Bane and Warrior's Bane. So they decrease the physical penetration from 22% to 15% for Warrior's Bane, which is the tier 2 of Titan's Bane, and they decrease the decrease the physical penetration from 33% to 30%, and increase the cost from 2150 to 2300 on actual tier 3 Titan's Bane. So I think this is a step in the right direction. Titan's Bane is the single most efficient pen item in the game, no doubt. You can pick it up on anyone, and it's really good. It's really good on hunter builds. It's really good in the jungle, and it's maybe even good on some solo builds. The problem with it, and the problem with the tank meta right now, is you can go 5 tank items and throw in a Titan's Bane somewhere, or maybe 5 bruiser items and throw in a Titan's Bane somewhere, and you're going to be doing a lot of damage just with that pen that you get from it, because it's good against every character and every objective in the game. It's good against towers, the phoenixes, the Titan, of course, FG, Gold Fury. It's also good against all the tanky characters that we're seeing played, and it's also good against the squishies, because even a mage at level 20 is going to have 30 physical protections, so this item's going to give you 10 pen for that, which is efficient, because it's only 2150 gold. And sometimes they're going to have aura items on their support, so their physical protections are going to be even higher. Or maybe they're building physical defense, so their physical protections are even higher. So maybe they're getting even 15 pen from this, when they're which is the same pen you would get from a flat pen item. So basically what I'm trying to get at is this: for 2150 gold, having an item that's good against everything in the game, that was pretty ridiculous. Glad that they increased the cost on it and reduced the pen you get from it. It's still going to be a necessary build, I think, in hunter build, or a necessary item in hunter builds, just because you need them to have this item so they can shred towers and phoenixes, more importantly. But it helps out the problem with tanks running around the jungle and just building this super efficient item so that they can do damage no matter what. However, it's not going to change the tank meta that much, because the way that they need to fix the tank meta is to adjust base damage numbers. That's the reason tanks are so prevalent right now. It's because people have kind of realized that base damage is not balanced in Smite. I can build one extra defense item against a character who built full offense. So say I built 5 offensive items and 1 defense item against a mage who has 6 offensive items. I'm going to outtrade them just because I have defense against their base damage numbers, whereas they don't have defense against my base damage numbers, right? So, because of that, the way to fix this is going to require a huge overhaul of either the mechanics or numbers in Smite with base damages, and that's something they cannot perform before Worlds, or you're going to seriously change the meta and seriously change how Smite is played right now. So, because of that, looking at items and looking at specific gods is the way to do it, so they don't completely fuck up the game before Worlds. So, this change I like. Up next is going to be Spellbound Kasuri. This is the tier 2 of the items: Shogun's, Genji's Guard, and Oni Hunter's Guard. This is a weird change. Don't really see the point of this. They reduced the magical protection from 50 to 40. I don't really get the point of this. It's just kind of, it's pretty much irrelevant, so we're just going to go ahead and skip it. Shogun's Kasari is going to be up next. Decrease the magical protection from 50 to 40. This is an odd change, one of the more odd changes in this patch. The only person who's building Shogun's Kasari is the support, right? It's an aura item. Solos can't build it because it doesn't provide anything that they really want. It doesn't give them any health, and it also doesn't give them any relevant magical protections, so it doesn't help their survivability in fights against mages. So it's not really an item they can afford to go. It gives them cooldown, but like I said, it doesn't help their survivability in fights against mages, so it's just not worth it. So the only person who's building this is the support. So I don't think support survivability is that big of a problem. I think tanks, at least in the support role, are actually pretty easy to kill. So decreasing the magical protection on it is kind of odd. It's only 10. It's still going to be a necessary item. If they wanted to nerf this item, I think they should have nerfed the passive on it, because 25% attack speed in an aura is pretty crazy in a meta right now that's basically PvE focused and a lot of objective focused. It helps you shred objectives super fast, 25% attack speed. So if they wanted to nerf this item, Maybe they should have reduced that by about 5%, maybe leave it at 20%, and that would have been nice, and kept it at 50 magical protections, because it was already pretty low magical protections, and nobody was buying it for survivability anyway. So, kind of an odd change. Up next is Voidstone. This is a good change. Voidstone was super efficient, 70 magical protections and 150 health, and the passive you get from it that helps you do true damage to mages. Pretty insane, and like I said, it was way too efficient. It's only like, I think, 2150 gold, just like Titan's Bane. So reducing the magical protection on it is smart. 70 magical protection was kind of ridiculous. I could have told you that when they said they were going to change it to 70, but either way, step in the right direction for that. There's also, so two of these changes. The Titan's Bane nerf helps the tank meta in the jungle, and then the Voidstone nerf helps the Guardian meta in the jungle or in other roles, maybe in solo. So it helps that. It doesn't mean it's going to completely change it for aforementioned reasons as far as base damage. So these are steps in the right direction. So the next three changes are going to help diversify mage starts in mid. So Tiny Trinket, they increase the magical power from 15 to 20. Lost Artifact, they increase the magical power from 15 to 20, just like Tiny Trinket, and also reduce the cost from 1600 to 550. I said 1600, from 600 to 550. What this means is you can just get an extra pot, health pot or a mana pot, and decrease the cost from Soul Trap from 1400 to 1350. So like I said, it's just going to help you get an extra pot. So these are supposed to help diversify the mid starts, because right now you either go Soul Trap so that you can get 60 power, the single most power you can get with 1500 gold, so that you can clear super fast and go to the jungle. That's why you see people build this on Thoth, because it helps their early clear, since Thoth has really bad level 1, level 2, level 3 clear. So it helps them with that. So all three of these I like, because it helps them. Well, maybe I can, go Lost Artifact here and rush a certain item because I actually get an extra power, or maybe I go Tiny Trinket because I really want to get into Banecrofts as soon as possible, because I'm playing a character that's really good with Banecrofts. So I like these changes. However, this fourth change that we're going to talk about is about Doom Orb. So Doom Orb, they increase the magical power from 40 to 60. So with no stacks at all, you get 60 power from the item. It's a super cheap item, so 60 power is pretty decent now. Increase the MP5 from it, which is good, from 7 to 10. And also they decrease the max stacks from 50 to 40. So that just makes it easier to stack up, and I guess more forgiving when you die and lose the stacks. So now, even though they wanted to diversify the starts for mages, they made an item that I think is going to be pretty mandatory now, since it's so cheap, so efficient, and it's that instant power you can get. I'm pretty sure mages are just going to be building Doom Orb now and rushing it. So I think with these three changes where they wanted to diversify the starts, they kind of reversed it, or I guess rode it with this Doom Orb change. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, because I'm not a mid-mage. I'm not, this is coming from solo perspective, but I do think that people are going to be just rushing Doom Orb now. Seems pretty efficient and cheap. So that's my 2 cents on those. Soul Eater's up next. They reduced the cost from 2400 to 2300. That's good. It's way too expensive. Devourer's Gauntlets is 2000 gold and a much better item. So for it to be 400 gold more is kind of ridiculous. So they reduced it by 100 gold, increased the power from 30 to 40, which is good, and they reduced the evolved power bonus from 20 to just 10. So now you get 40 power right when you buy the item, and once it's evolved you get up to that 50. So you get the power earlier. However, this change is kind of ridiculous. It's just stupid, because I don't think this item's good. It's not going to make this item good. The problem with the item is the passive is just not good. 10% is way too low. If they wanted to make this item good, they should make it 15%, maybe even 20%, and then we can look at the item as an actual item that you could probably buy. But with it being at 10%, I don't think you should ever get this item. The base stats are okay, but there's better items that you can go with actual passives that you want. So, yeah, this isn't going to change the effectiveness of this item. I'm going to be honest. Next is Fenrir, and these are the most interesting changes. Fenrir is actually seeing a lot of buffs. So Unbound Runes, this passive no longer affects Seething Howl. Seething Howl is his second ability, his steroid. We'll get to that in a second. Brutalize is up next. Fenrir now gains bonus physical and magical protections of 5 plus 1 per level while channeling this ability. So this is good, because it's really awkward to brutalize in fights, because a lot of times you'll get focused down because people want to interrupt your brutalize. So they're using an ability on it, and a lot of times that ability has damage. Maybe it's a damaging ability. Say maybe Sun Wukong Tigers you to interrupt your brutalize because you just brutalized him in lane or whatever. So he did damage to you with that. Since you're getting some protections while you're brutalizing now it's going to be a little bit more forgiving to brutalize in fights, and it's going to help you out because you're going to get targeted out because people want to interrupt your brutalize. So getting protections from that is pretty cool. Up next, Seething Howl. Like I said, Seething Howl no longer consumes runes from Unbound Runes, which is his passive. Increase the physical power buff from 10 to 70 to 20 to 80, because since it doesn't consume the runes anymore, it doesn't give you that extra buff, so they're just going to increase the power on it so you have it at all times if you use the two. And they also increase the lifesteal buff from 30% to 35% for the same reason I mentioned for the power. So, what this means now is you do not have to, you're going to be able to keep your stun while also having that extra power, because a lot of times, or maybe even keep the AoE brutalize, because a lot of times you 2 before you jump or you brutalize because it increases the scaling on it because you get power from it. So now you're able to do that and get a lot of that extra power without consuming your runes, and you're able to have your stun after you use your 2. So I like that. You don't have to save your runes now just for your stun. It helps him out in that regard. And also it's only a little bit of a nerf to his late game, because before I think maybe it's 20 extra power if you get the full runes too, and maybe I think it's what, 45% lifesteal, so 10% less lifesteal. So it's only a little bit of a nerf to his late game, but he's still gonna be able to. The only reason you use your 2 in late game is for the extra scaling into lifesteal off of buffs anyway, for the most part, since you're an ability based assassin for the most part. So these are interesting changes, and I kind of like them. And people say, like, well, you know, stuff like before you could, if he jumped on you and it didn't stun you, maybe he's looking for an extra auto, and then he's going to use his Seething Howl because he's trying to box you with extra lifesteal. And that's true. Maybe you can outplay him before, but all a buff is making it harder to play against. So with this, it makes it harder to play against. So I think that's fine. Yeah, that's just my opinion, though. If you have any questions about that kind of stuff, just leave in the comments. I'll definitely get back to you if I wasn't quite clear on my thoughts for that. For Ragnarok, they adjusted the damage to be consistent increase per rank. Okay, that's fine. Increase the range of the attack from 12 to 15. So that's pretty interesting, because, and they also added a cone target to his attack to more clearly show his range, which is fine. It's just making it less frustrating to use, because a lot of times if you're on super high ping, you're hitting the character, but it's just not picking them up. For whatever reason. So increasing the range on is going to help with that. It's just making it less frustrating of an ability. It's already super easy. If you really want to pick up a target and you're a good player, you're going to get them. So this isn't going to change anything with that. It's just going to make it less frustrating for players who either playing on a really high ping or have the targeter over them and it's just simply not hitting them because it's kind of a buggy ability. So it's going to help with that, I think. So good changes. All in all, Fenrir changes I do like. I don't think they changed the intent of this character. I think they just help him out with some aspects. He's still going to be the same. He's still going to be stunning people. He's just going to be doing a little bit more damage, and it's going to have a little bit more survivability with these protections and the actually hitting his ult. And then Artio's is up next, so they targeted her healing abilities, and then they've nerfed him, so they decreased the energy surge heal from 60 to 140 to 40 to 120 per enemy got hit, and they decreased the magical power scaling on energy surge heal from 25% to 20%. So this is her 1, so now she's going to heal a little bit less for each enemy got hit, no big deal. And then also on life tap, they decrease the magical power scaling on life tap heal from 10% to 5% protect. So both abilities are just going to heal for less, which I like, because part of the reason she's so frustrating to play against is because she has so much sustain. So nerfing that aspect is going to help playing against her. It's going to help, you know, being able to outplay her more because she's not going to sustain as much. So yeah, I like these changes. I still think she'll probably be pretty good. Oh, excuse me. I still think she'll probably be pretty good. So this isn't that big of a deal. But it's another step in the right direction. Colin is finally seeing some nerfs. I don't know why it's taking so long. So reduced the bonus shield from 20 plus 24 per level to 10 plus 20 per level. That's a pretty big nerf in the shield regard. And then Event Anger decreased self-move speed buff from 10% to 5%. So both of these are good because you want to transform anyway because you want to get those extra abilities that give you CC. So having extra power, extra shield, extra movement speed was all just a bonus that you get for doing something you wanted to do anyway, right? It didn't really make sense, and they provided too much for him. So these nerfs are good. It's going to help playing against him in lane, because right now if you know that he's going to transform, you say, well, I gotta fuck this wave and get out of here because he can literally just kill me. So you have to give up all your pressure, even if you're playing a character that has pressure, because he can just 1v1 you so easily with all these extra bonuses. And also, why does he get an extra movement speed in his berserk form? Like, he already gets extra power and a shield, so decreasing the movement speed on this is good. I mean, they could have completely taken it away, and I think it would have been good, because if you think about it early game, if you transform, you are automatically getting 10% extra, or 10% more move speed than the character you're playing against. So you're able to outrun them no matter what, and chase them down, even if they're trying to get away from the wave. So, yeah, these are good nerfs. I think with this, they should have just taken it out, though. He shouldn't have an extra movement speed, but whatever. And last but not least, we have Ymir. So Shards of Ice, he's getting buffed. Frostbite passive is now immediately applied to enemies in the area and refreshed by the detonate. So what this means is that you aren't applying your frostbite passive until you detonated the Shards of Ice. So now once you start it, you're gonna get it, and they're gonna be doing less damage to you, because the frostbite passive makes your autos hit harder and also makes it so characters do less damage to you and your team. They just have overall less damage. So now it's gonna help out his team fight a bit if he's able to ult and start a fight. You know, he's going to have a bit more utility because people are going to be doing less damage to him and his team. So maybe you're able to get a good ult off in the fight, and, you know, immune a CC ability, and, you know, I don't know, reduce the damage that overall that's being done. That's going to be super good, and it's going to help out his team fight, which is one of his worst problems because he's super easy to target out in the fights. So I like this. This also helps out his laning phase at least a bit in solo, because it helps out your auto cancels. You know, now you can, if they're doing damage to you while you're in your ult, you can ults, they're doing less damage, and they immediately pop it and then go and auto them, and you know, you're going to be able to get more damage off with your auto cancels between your freeze, your 2, and your ult. So I like this change. So overall, most of the changes I do like. They're all steps in the right direction. Some of them are a little bit odd, but not that big of a deal. A lot of these we're just going to have to play with and test out and see how they do. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I will get back to you. If I didn't explain something well enough, please ask me about it, and I will try and do my best to explain it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next patch. Peace out, guys.